Welcome old family and new family to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip-hop, all culture. You're listening to your boy Brandon White, a.k.a. Bushido Garvey, a.k.a. Glitch Tuxtable. You know what it is.
On the boards and all that good stuff. You the co-host you listening to is Rob Blow.
Yes. For those who don't listen again, this is Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip-hop, all culture, where we are part local, part global, and all universal. So we have a packed up syllabus today in the discussion topics. First, we're going to be tackling the Grammy controversies, multiple controversies that have been going on, right? And then we're going to be tackling Trump's push to have military recruitment on historically black colleges and universities as quiet as kept. That's going on.
HBCUs?
Yes. HBCUs. I be adding letters too sometimes. Yeah. HSBC, DEFG. It happens all the time. It's all good. And then we're going to be talking a bit about Kobe's passing and legacy. You know what I'm saying? So let's hop right into this syllabus. A peace to all of our online Facebook listeners. Yes.
All right, so first and foremost on the syllabus is the Grammys and the reaction towards Tyler the Creators and
Diddy and all
Diddy,
that. Which, by the way,
speeches.
was the lowest rating Grammys in a while.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So Diddy had a lot to say in terms of the Grammys diversity and acknowledging what black people have contributed musically to the culture and in the academy. When we say the academy, we mean the Recording Academy. He basically said, a lot of black. He basically said that the Grammys and the Recording Academy has 365 days to change their ways, or else. Right? We don't know what that or else means. Could be a boycott. It could be a protest. We don't know what that means. But he put a threat out there, and he got real specific about some things.
Yeah, very much so. I know he talked about the mission statement of the Grammys and how they're a non-for-profit organization with a mission statement that states, and paraphrasing, that they are here to protect the artists themselves and protect their interests.
Well,
something
to
that effect. Go ahead.
So being a non-profit, right? Which I'm glad he spoke on that. First of all, salute to Diddy to speaking on that, right? This whole situation, right? And not just having like there's like a common fake outrage that can happen sometimes, but like he stepped up, made some courageous statements, was emotionally honest, and said like at one part I feel proud, and the other part like this is messed up. But then also directly called out like it's a non-profit, and non-profits are supposed to be serving the people, but non-profits can also be vehicles for oppression as well, and exclusivity as well. Right? It gets used to like to avoid taxes and avoid certain things that businesses have to be accountable for sometimes, and do their own agenda. And the language of a nonprofit can be manipulated, because if they say serve artists, what artists? It didn't necessarily say black artists. It didn't say Asian or Hispanic artists. It said artists.
Yeah, and obviously, this is their mannerisms up to. I mean, this is their standard mannerisms that they have been conducting for a long period of time. You know what I mean? Since they've been having these awards, and how they like, for example, with Tyler the Creator, his speech was more for the individual, which was on him.
Right.
While Diddy's speech was more of a
collective experience.
Collective experience.
Oh boy, I get like one thing I liked about what he said was he like actually went back in time. He clearly thought about this, because he either just had a sharp memory about the history of the Grammys with rap not being respected, and just black music not being respected in general, or he did like some refreshing research, because he said he shouted out a lot of people who he felt got snubbed that were black. He shouted out Prince. Shout out Nas for Illmatic. Shout out Snoop for Doggy Style. Shout out Beyonce for Lemonade. Missy Elliott as well, and Michael Jackson for Off the Wall. You know what I'm saying? So, it was real informed, and did you see Sauce Money in them?
No.
So you remember Sauce Money, right? So I guess he wrote "I'll Be Missing You."
Okay.
The Diddy song, right?
Okay.
In recent time, he's been like getting at Diddy about not giving him like his just due for like publishing and royalties and stuff like that, right?
I mean, he's known for that, though.
Right. He's gotten that Jay-Z for similar things too. But I guess he saw this speech and was like, I agree with the message, but I just don't agree with the messenger.
Okay.
Because he identified Diddy and Jay-Z in this situation and said both of y'all are on the clock.
Yep.
Basically, like both of y'all have been a part of this mechanism that hasn't been treating us right.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about that too. And when I thought about that, I thought about the locks and how he had locks in the shiny suits and all that. Doing the videos, and then just not letting them bloom within their own personal realm,
right?
And their own expression, I guess.
And the locks have also made complaints and protests with Diddy in public. There's that infamous radio call up, you know what I'm saying, where the Locks and Diddy was going at it, right, about like them getting paid right, you know what I'm saying. But then there's always Diddy's side was like, I was just with y'all, so why didn't y'all say anything then? And then Mace, did you see Mace?
Oh, he had a complaint, right? Then
Mace was like, you've only given me 20,000 for all my publishing. As one of your biggest grossing artists, you only give me 20,000. And he also said that when I offered $2 million, according to him, he said when I offered $2 million to buy back my publishing, according to Mace, Diddy said to him, if you put up the amount that this other man, who happened to be white, puts up, then I'll sell you your publishing back, right?
Wow.
So this is according to Mace. Now Mace also said that Cameron had sex with his sister, with Cameron's. Cameron had sex with his own sister, but then Cameron's like, I don't have a sister. Mace has been known to kind of like, exaggerate situations, although I don't know why he exaggerate this one. Yeah. But this is also another situation where Mace has done like union tours and other situations with Diddy and hasn't made it vocal during those times.
Right? That's true.
But then he also said, I didn't want to make it vocal during that time because I wanted to get my money up to make sure that my voice would be heard. You know what I'm saying? So,
so like from Diddy's side, he's saying that as a collective, the collective is not being treated properly, or or like how they should be treated. And from what's name's side, from Tyler the Creator side, he feels like his music is being snubbed because they don't understand it, and they just gonna just throw it into the rap category if you don't have no understanding of it.
Yeah.
I guess I never heard the album, but from my understanding, from my understanding, it has a lot of melody, singing, etc. Might be considered more of an R&B album or whatever.
Yeah, and, it's a lot more. His argument was like, because with pop music, even when pop music has a lot of hip hop elements in it, it still gets labeled pop music. But then when people who are MCs or came up in rap, but then make a diverse album with different sounds, it immediately gets labeled as rap. When again, pop music that may have a lot of hip hop sounds and traditions gets labeled still as pop. So he doesn't like the sorting, and called that the urban word, like a politically correct version of the N word. Should we? And he also talked about this duality of like being happy that he was recognized, but at the same time, the context he didn't appreciate. When should we stop caring about whatever the Grammys is doing?
I think we shouldn't care at all, like, because obviously it has been here before hip hop was here, right?
What, the
I
Grammys?
don't
of course,
yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's like you're looking for acceptance from another group of people, which is being said by Diddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You guys don't care, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Same thing with Tyler the Creator. Are we gonna care more about BET Awards? Are we gonna care more about
Soul Train Awards?
Yeah, Soul Train Awards. You know what I mean?
Image Awards.
You know what I mean? Like those awards are somewhat belittled. To me, in the eyes of many people, I feel like those awards are more belittled because it's more. I don't know why. Like, is it because it's not more recognized than the Grammys or the whatever else awards? You know what I mean?
To that point,
AMC Awards. I don't know.
Right. Like, well, to that point, you know what I'm saying? I think it was Charlemagne that brought up an observation that he made, or somebody made to him, about how on the red carpet there was a lot of black folks on the red carpet, and many of them were not even given the black outlets the time of day, like the black media outlets the time of day.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So and that can happen
in terms of like
interviews and you know what I'm saying, like and to your point, that can happen. Like, I can't count how many times I've seen like a Soul Train Award or NAACP Image Award or whatever other award that clearly is around black culture, and a very popular artist won't be in attendance. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they'll have their reward accepted for on their behalf by somebody else.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
true.
Like, so if we're serious, I think one thing is one, still expecting more from the Grammys, but then also expecting more and collabing more with efforts.
Not expecting more, but
putting more effort.
Yeah, put more effort into the BT Soul Trains and all that stuff like that. Not expecting from them, like, put more.
Expecting more from us. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
My fault. Yeah.
Something like that. You know what I mean?
And to this point, you know, the CEO of the Recording Academy is a black man.
Ooh, no, I didn't do no research.
I didn't know that until
I didn't read no articles.
His name is Harvey Mason Jr. This is a black man running the Recording Academy. This is a black man that we're pointing at about diversity.
Okay.
Right? That's important to be said, because again, these you could put a black face in front of an institution, and the institution can still do the institution's purpose. Just true. Like how if Sauce Money and Mesa right, like this was a black man that was not doing them right by publishing, but Diddy's not doing them right was in the context of a white institution. Like Bad Boy was still like. It was like a black enclave, but it was still connected to like white systems. Subsidiary of these other white labels. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it was a subsidiary. So, you know, they had their own little space, but like that space still had to use the tools and the patterns and the policies of that white space. So you can have a black face and they can still do white work and white racist work. The other thing that should be said before we transition is, I guess, like shortly after Diddy's speech, this black CEO, again, his name is Harvey Mason Jr., committed to doing recommendations that I guess the Grammys, the Recording Academy's Diversity Task Force put forth. Okay. I guess they came up with a Diversity Task Force a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
But after Diddy's speech, they were like, all right, they had 18 recommendations. We'll do at least 17 out of the 18. Actually, they said they'll do all 18 of the recommendations. Okay. But the question is, why weren't this task force has been around for a few years? What was happening with these recommendations before the Diddy speech?
It was being forgotten. I don't know about that. I have to do more research on that. But obviously, you know, it was put on the wayside. I probably felt like, you know what I mean, like,
and that happens. You know, and you know how many times, like, you know, white institutions, even with black faces, will ask for, you know, diversity opinions and inclusion opinions. They'll get the opinions and then not do anything with the opinions, but they feel good because they asked about it,
or they listen to it. Or, you know what I mean, or people who whatever. But go ahead.
You know, so I guess the Academy, you know, with these recommendations, agreed to hire another diversity and inclusion officer. When I thought you had a diversity task force, why are you hiring more people for it? But it is what it is, right? They said that they do an independent review of the Academy's progress. Okay. And they said that they would.
Okay. So it's like an investigation type thing.
Yeah. Like an improvement / investigation and assessment of their growth. You know what I'm saying? And that they'll commit to all those 18 task force recommendations. So I'm sure the task force is like, well, thank you, Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Because not now. Their work is actually being utilized. So, you know. So salutes to everybody trying to make things better.
What's next on the syllabus?
So next on the syllabus is, and peace to everybody listening. Peace to Uncle Raj, you know what I'm saying? Big bro Raj, appreciate you and all your wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else listening, we appreciate you. So HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, are currently being targeted by the Trump administration to increase our ROTC programs. For those who don't know, that's Reserve Training Officer.
That's Reserve Officers Training Corps program.
I said ROTC. My bad. ROTC. Yeah, Reserve Officer Training. What's the C stand? Corps. I always heard the ROTC phrasing growing up. You know what I'm saying? They had them in some schools where we grew up. But I would always forget what it stood for. But yes, so military recruitment programs being put into HBCUs.
There's 102 HBCUs in the United States of America. There's about 25 of these HBCUs that holds these programs, and they want to increase that number. So that's about a quarter out of 100%.
Yeah, that's but now, so that's actually. And to their argument's credit, I guess, that's actually like a lower percentage of the other schools that have ROTC. I guess it's like 1,700 colleges total
in the United States across America.
Well, that have ROTC, but there's like 5,300 colleges. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So that's about like
that's good.
A similar, you know what I'm saying? A similar
number
proportion.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? It's,
ratio.
Yeah, it's a similar ratio. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I guess the targeting, the purposes of targeting is believing that, you know, having ROTC programs and HBCUs will increase the competitiveness of HBCUs. That's what the Trump administration is arguing, and that it will be able to like kind of introduce new majors in STEM. For those who don't know what STEM is in education, that means science, technology, engineering, and math.
Also will help with the financial problems of the HBCUs. Exactly. Right. Yep. Basically, because I guess a lot of HBCUs are struggling financially, right? And also help students with stipends and scholarship programs, etc.
Because I guess how ROTC works on the college level is if you have a full scholarship from ROTC, you have to commit to 8 years of service.
Yeah, that's one thing too. You have to pledge to 8 years of service if you complete this program.
What are your thoughts on the military services going to HBCUs to recruit, given all the context of what HBCUs are going through and the context of black people and the military? You know what I'm saying?
I'm very much torn by this. You know what I mean? I'm really much torn by this basically because of the treatment of black Americans in America when it comes to the military services, etc. You know, you got the GI Bill. The GI Bill wasn't.
Is that the bill that they
It's like
there was like a housing bill where basically like GIs came home from a war
and they were able to get taken care of in terms of money and things of that nature. But
it wasn't given to
it wasn't given to them, right? So you got things like that. So that was a disrespect to many soldiers. You know what I mean?
Right.
I understand. Being patriotic and caring about the militants, etc. But at the same time, the government has to be able to take care of these militants when they come back home. Yeah, it's cool you're taking care of them outside and abroad or when they're in service, but also you got to take care of them when they become civilians as well. You know what I mean?
No, indeed.
So I feel like the GI Bill did not do that. Also. The oppression from many of these institutions, including the military institution and other institutions within the military branch. You know what I mean?
Right.
And historic. That's historic as well. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because I was interrupting you. My fault on that.
No.
They the military was brought literally the military was used to quiet rebellions. You know what I'm saying? And urban rebellions throughout the 60s, and even with Baltimore, when Baltimore had this uprising and this rebellion a few years ago, the military was called in. The military was called in to Ferguson when we were upset about not getting justice from an extension of the military, which is the police. You know what I'm saying? Because now their police are being militarized because now they have similar weapons and are getting trained with similar tactics. So you know what I'm saying? There can be a real oppressive relationship between the armed forces, including the police, the armed forces of America versus the black folks who live in America as citizens. You know what I'm saying?
So you could call it the relationship between civilians and the regiment, or army.
You know what I mean? Folks.
You know what I mean? So and it's not strong. It's not a strong relationship at all.
No, it's not. But yet we're steadily getting recruited. You know what I'm saying? I told you this story off air. I'll tell it real fast again. My father lived in. I was at my father's house at the time, and he lived in a very middle class neighborhood. And I got a call from an army recruiter, and I told him I wasn't interested. And the first thing he told me was, "Don't you want to escape the hood and the ghetto and all the crime?" When I was like, "You don't even know where you calling. This ain't even the hood." You know what I'm saying? So there has been a history of trying to claw in folks of color, black people, Latino people to serve in the military when we don't always get treated well in this country in the first place.
Yeah, the Black American plight is not respected fully. You know what I mean?
No, at all. And the military has been used, in that plight. You know what I'm saying? But we're all. But this is where I got to slow my roll, because all of us are active in these systems one way or another that don't respect the plight of citizens that live here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? We're teachers. Like the education system doesn't respect the plight of African Americans. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can even bring it back to like Diddy and them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're trying their best, but the record industry does not respect the plight of black folks. You know what I'm saying? So we all try to do what we can in the systems that we are a part of, and we are encouraged to be a part of. I know some great people in the military. I have family in the military. They're great people.
I know friends of mine that's in the military. I got people that works in government settings. Definitely, I know people and got family members that's a part of that as well.
Indeed.
And even though now, I could say that one side the plight is not being respected, but on the other side, let's say if these people do go through the program and do get hired, and diversity is brought in within the military as officers, as whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you see more faces, would that change the mannerisms or the conductivity of the army? You know what I mean? Like,
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be a two-pronged approach. Like, one, you diversify what it looks like, but then you use what it looks like to diversify how you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like, kind of like we'll take our job. Like, will adding more educators of color automatically change how this system operates in terms of acting against students of color?
No,
not necessarily, unless you tap into the mindset and the experiences of these educators of color, of many of us who understand how oppressive the system can be and have done some thinking about how to re-engineer that system to better serve. So unless the army is doing that, it's not going to make much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's their argument right there. They feel like it's going to make a difference if you see more people of your what's the word? Your color that in the higher positions. You know what I mean? That's going to make you want to do better and maybe ascend to those heights, I guess. You know what I mean?
There was to your point about like recruiting more people, because you made a point of it not being active duty or whatever, like, officers and stuff like that. Like
with the GI Bill and all that.
So I guess African Americans make up, like, first of all, the army itself is already 40% non-white. You know what I'm saying? And African Americans are 19% of the active duty, and 9% are 19% of active duty enlisted. And then, other folks of color, I don't know the stats. I know it's high Latino shares some of that, and some other folks of color as well. But like, if there's 19% of the military's active duty our enlisted members are African Americans, but only 9% of them are active duty officers, then you recruit within that 19%. You know what I'm saying? Like, recruiting more people, you're just gonna have them be more active duty active duty non-officer people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be recruiting within that 19% to make them officers if you're really thinking about changing. Stuff,
Definitely.
So, but we wish the best for everybody to make informed decisions. You know what I'm saying? If the army is right for you for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Know that it's right and know how to navigate the systems. Any black person that chooses to do something for well-being or for purpose has to know that if it's in a system that has historically oppressed us, there's going to be elements of that system that tries to change your thinking to be complacent or an active participant in the oppression of you or other people of color. So you have to know how to navigate around that to the best of your abilities, and try to change that to the best of your abilities as well.
Yeah, verily.
Yeah, indeed. So last but not least, we got hit with some serious news almost like right after the last time we were here.
Last weekend on a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Last weekend on Sunday. This is the first day of February, Black History Month and all that good stuff.
Indeed. That's got to be the next topic. But anyway, like, Kobe Bryant passed in that tragic helicopter crash along with several other folks, and including his daughter, Gigi Bryant.
Gianna.
Sorry. It's all good. It's all good. Rest in peace and power to two awesome, like, athletes And in the case of Kobe, to somebody who really like defined a generation, especially if you're a black male, just keeping it 100.
Man.
You know
this dude definitely created his own niche and helped to define a generation of dedicated. Like he exemplified dedication at its finest, man.
Indeed, and
at its finest.
And to that point, homie, like LA has lost 2 juggernauts within within 12 months. You know what I'm saying?
You know, he from Philly too.
He's from Philly, but
from Philly, man. Philly's taking huge losses right now.
So he's from Philly, but like, you know, like spent his entire career in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he retired, like he spent at least 15 years? More than 15 years in the NBA.
Over a decade,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like at least 2 decades in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And but all that time was in LA. And you know what I'm saying? Within the past 12 months, we lost Nipsey in LA.
Yeah.
And we lost him in LA.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And both of these two, like, represented, to your point, like dedication, devotion, dream chasing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and craft and skill.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like these two were technicians at their craft. With Nipsey, it was the MCing and the entrepreneurial elements.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That actually reflect what Diddy's talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Kobe, who, you know, represented what it meant to be like really skilled and crafted and devoted to you know, the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And passing that on intergenerationally. And actually it came from him too, because his father played ball.
Not only that, he also spoke more than one language.
Yeah,
you know
so
what
I'm
I mean?
saying. So
he might have been a polyglot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think he you know, because to your point about him speaking more than one language, like he might have been Philly born, but like he was like raised all over the world, you know what I'm saying? Which gave basketball its international appeal when he became, because you know he's named after a city in Japan. You know, Kobe is a city in Japan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he brought an international appeal to basketball that wasn't there yet. You know, of course there was love for basketball before that internationally, but like he blew it up even more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. It's just a lot to be learning from how he moved. You know what I'm saying? In terms of his dedication and ruthlessness and studiousness to his craft. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody I can learn from that in terms of MCing and teaching. Same with you. Some plumbers can learn from that. You know what I'm saying? Engineers can learn from that.
Yep.
Lawyers can learn from that. You know what I'm saying? Coders can learn from that. Like that Mamba mentality is a real thing.
Yeah, that's crazy that you said that real quick, man. The Mamba mentality. This is some of the things you might hear after his passing. He actually, before he passed, he was in court dealing with pharmaceutical companies over the Mamba name.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's a pharmaceutical company that wanted to drop something with the Mamba name in it, and also, you know, he had the Mamba name and Floyd Mayweather's uncle Roger Mayweather had the Black Mamba name as a boxer. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
But basically, what Kobe was trying to do was trademark it.
Gotcha.
I think the pharmaceutical company tried to trademark it first, but Kobe stepped in and tried to stop that, and he also tried to trademark his name and try to get that name in there because of, you know what I mean, like the conflict that it had and all this other stuff, man. So you might hear some of this stuff come out after his passing and maybe in connection with his estate as well. You know what I mean? So be ready.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, listen out for that.
But this might be running low on time, but do you think that there are people who are using that to say like this was an Illuminati conspiracy against his death? You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I'm sorry, bro.
Conspiracy theories gotta stop.
Yes, I can't do it, son. We gotta stop that. I understand we're dealing with a government and a society that constantly lies about their intentions and the dirt that they do. They try to make real things seem unreal. And I understand that, you know, when that happens all the time, unreal things can seem real, like us thinking that this is something that has to do with some sort of conspiracy.
I mean, do you see some of the coincidences? You seen the cartoon?
No, but like here's the thing though. I know that, you know, like around that time when you know because it happened on a Sunday, right? The Grammys happened that Sunday, and it happened in the same place where, you know, like his jerseys are hung up and all that. But like, there's a difference between there being a conspiracy and like life and tragedy in life being poetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like poetic coincidence happen all the time with life. You know what I'm saying? Like there will be moments in life, you know, personal moments in life where I have a moment in life, but I discovered that, you know what I'm saying, like My father went through the same thing without me necessarily telling him what I went through, or him telling me what I went through. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Or like stuff like that happens all the time, where it's just like, oh wow, what a crazy coincidence. But then life is just full with that. You know what I'm saying? Like life, art definitely imitates life, because life can have poetic kind of like patterns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that don't mean that, you know what I'm saying, the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati wanted to take out Kobe because the Big Pharma wanted to use the name Mamba. Stop it.
No. But what are we doing on time?
Man,
are we looking
man,
like
on time? We are. I talked too much, but we are at time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for listening to Cypher Scholars.
Yes, sir.
Part education, part hip hop, all culture. Peace to everybody who listened on Facebook Live. Peace to you, Mr. Carey. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Carey.
You can catch us every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2 on 104.3 Wayo FM, and you can catch us online and on Facebook. Peace and progress.
Peace.